together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Leisure. It's always good to see you. We're actually making some effect, brother, and it's nice. Do, 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 do. Hopefully nobody will come on and peddle their wares this time. I think somebody learned that lesson earlier. That's all right. That's all right. Oh, you're everywhere. Scott being everywhere, man. Scott being everywhere. Hey, Chris, good to see you. Looks like I got my primary purpose group here today. Maybe I'll get my butt down there sometime soon. Oh no, Vitality's a lot closer to me. I'm thinking about because I got to get to some in-person meetings just for the fact that I need to. But we're in time step, and if forgiveness is really a part of it, sure, I think it's a part of it. But let's just go ahead and do introductions and get started. I don't think I'm going to wait for the 3-minute mark this time. I just don't feel like being quiet for sitting here. Got a new podcast coming out today, another fentanyl podcast coming out today. So keep an eye out for it. But don't look for it on the website because it's not up yet. I'm getting a little frustrated. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. All right, welcome. I'm Dion. I'm going to be your host. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching live or the rewatch. And then I wanted to just give an offer. I'm trying to do this once a week because somebody did bring up that it'd be nice to see some other hosts, and I do not disagree with them. Okay, so if you want to ever join me or anything, just let me know. Hey, Dion, what time you go on live today? And we'll get something set up, or maybe we'll do one for you or something. Hey, there's something I'd like to kind of discuss. Can we go live and discuss it together? I'd love to do that with you. So just let me know. Feel free to reach out. All right. Let's switch this over to chat. And then we're going to grab the 12 by 12. Right? Because it's not for Dion to decide whether it was a great line to get people here. So if we go and take a look at the principles, because we're supposed to practice all these principles in all of our affairs, if we go look, because it seems like every time I go to a meeting and it's the 9th step, we seem to be talking about forgiveness. Okay? The principle behind step 9 is justice. It's justice, not forgiveness. Step 8 is brotherly love, and those kind of go together. Okay, so brotherly love and justice. Does that equal forgiveness? Do you need forgiveness? Do you need to forgive other people? Let's find out. Step 9, make direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Sometimes you may be walking down the street and see somebody and you're going to be like, oh man, I think I owe them an amends. Whether you think you do or not, go do it. Don't question yourself. Just go do it. Okay? God did that for a reason. Don't argue with him. Remember, I was in a 7-Eleven one time and my wife touched me on the shoulder. She goes, hey, babe. See those 2 police officers over there? Those are the ones that always came over to our house that never put you in jail, even though you deserve to be. She didn't say it that way. That's what went through my mind. Okay. And I went over and I got to do an amends. Was this about forgiveness? No, it wasn't. I went up to him and I said, hey, you may not remember me, and they didn't. And I told them, you used to come to my house a lot because I was a heavy drinker. And I want you to know you helped my wife out a lot and you helped me out a lot. And I am sober now. So I will not be you. I will not be filling up your time. And they pretty much said, you were not filling up our time. And they pretty much said, it was fine for us to hold space for you. That's justice, not forgiveness. I'm learning. Good judgment, a careful sense of timing, courage, and prudence. These are the qualities we shall need when we take step 9. Okay? Just in 4 and 5, fearless and thorough were the key words. Here, good judgment, timing, courage, and prudence. We're a little bit older, so us three probably know what prudence means. I'd actually have to go look it up because I don't know I know the gist. That's about it. After we made a list of people we had harmed, have reflected carefully upon each instance, have tried to possess ourselves of the right attitude in which to proceed. We will see that the making of direct amends divides those who would approach into several classes. So there's going to be different types of amends. You have different types of people. There will be those who ought to be dealt with just as soon as we become reasonably confident that we can maintain our sobriety. That is the other reason that we're going to wait to do these amends. Because your sobriety at the moment may be precarious at its best. You need some time. Normies love time. They love seeing you gain time. Okay? There will be those to whom we can make only partial restitution. Less complete disclosures to them or others more harm than good. To them or others more harm than good. There will be other cases where action ought to be deferred, and still others in which, by the very nature of the situation, we shall never be able to make direct personal contact at all. No contact at all would be death. My brother Scott said to me directly, he didn't say it in these words, but I caught it. He didn't want a 9th step. He doesn't want to cover it. He doesn't want justice. He doesn't want it. Okay? Well, I still need to make the amends. Nice little letter. Yeah, I didn't send it to him. Most of us begin because, see, justice is about coming to terms with the shit we did, man. That's it. Now, justice doesn't mean, okay, because justice is served. Hey, I'm coming to you. I owe you $5,000, man. And somehow I need to pay this off. Can we sit down and figure this out, man? I'm going to give you $100 a month until we're done, right? Yeah, Scott, it's about our side of the street. And that doesn't have anything to do with forgiveness. I'm not saying don't forgive. I'm saying it's in the wrong place. The 9th step is about saying, hey, my side of the street is clean. So now I can go out and I can help people like never before because I no longer feel guilty or upset about my own past. Okay. Most of us make certain kinds of direct amends from the day we join AA. This is what we call the living amends. The moment we tell our families that we're really going to try the program, the process has begun. In this area, there are seldom any questions of timing or caution. We want to come in the door shouting the good news. No, don't do that. After coming from our first meeting, or perhaps we have finished reading the book Alcoholics Anonymous, we usually want to sit down with some member of the family and readily admit the damage we have done by our drinking. My sponsor told me, Dion, you are not going to do that. He actually stopped me. He's like, I think it was the second time we met. Okay. And he knew what I was going to do. And he said, no, hey, Scott and Chris, Paul. Paul Arnold. He was my sponsor this time around. And God, mean cuss. Love him. I love him. But he's like, you are not the head of household, and you are not going to go in there and start apologizing. Instead, you're going to go in there, you're going to do the dishes, you're going to clean the house, go pick up the dog poop, do what needs to be done, do what you were supposed to be doing in the first place. And when you are done, do not go to her and ask her, hey, look what I did. No, you don't do that. And I still have to watch myself to this day. I'll do something really cool. I'll bring in my wife. I'm like, what do you think? She's like, yeah. No, I'm disappointed because I didn't get what I want. Almost always we want to go further and admit defects that made us hard to live with. This will be a very different occasion, and in sharp contrast with those hangover mornings when we alternate between reveling ourselves and blaming the family and everyone else for our troubles. At first, at this first sitting, it is necessary only that we make a general admission of our defects. It may be unwise at this stage to rehash certain harrowing episodes. To stay away from particulars. I don't talk particulars. If they bring up a particular, I will listen. I will agree, but I will have no comment on it. Because the only comment I'm going to have really is, well, yeah, you did this. And that's not justice. See, sometimes you just got to take the beating. Okay? Sometimes you're going to take a beating. I have. Okay? I did that for my kids. They were angry. And I got it. I understood why they were angry. Okay? And my parents never gave me the chance to speak my side. So I let my kids have it. Did it hurt? Yes, it hurt. Because it was true. Am I going to live there? No, I'm not. Good judgment will suggest we ought to take our time. While we may be quite willing to reveal the very worst, we must be sure to remember that we cannot buy our own peace of mind at the expense of others. There it is. It's not about forgiveness. If you're approaching these people expecting forgiveness, you need a new sponsor. Because they obviously haven't talked to you about this. Right? I'm just saying. Okay, that's emotional sobriety, which we deal with in 6 and 7. 6 and 7 is emotional sobriety. All right. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go to the how did I feel after making peace with those people? That's a great fucking question, Scott. Thank you. And a tough one. That's a tough question. It really varied. You know, my daughter's the most recent one, so it's fresh in my mind. After we were done with that, we laughed, we cried together, we had a regular conversation, which to her and me felt nice. And since then, we've been able to talk back and forth, and we're going to go to lunch this Saturday. Right? My mom, I had to just be okay with certain things. Right? See, people are people, and the thing is they may be doing something, but it's my perception too. So what we need to do, or what I needed to do, was allow those people to be exactly who they are. Okay? That's the brotherly love. That's the brotherly love that comes in step 8. And with that love, I can be appropriate to each situation. Because, see, it's not about me, but it is about me. Okay? I'm the only person I can change. My daughter made some great points. She felt very left out about some things. Now I'll make sure that never happens again. There can only be one consideration which should qualify our desire for a complete disclosure of damage we have done. This will arise in the occasional situation where we make a full revelation would seriously harm the one to whom we are making amends, or, quite as important, other people. We cannot, for example, unload a detailed account of extramarital adventures upon the shoulders of our unsuspecting wife or husband. And even those cases where such a matter must be discussed, let's try to avoid harming third parties, whoever they may be. It does not lighten our burden when we recklessly make the crosses of others heavier. So when we're doing this, do not look for a common enemy. Don't look for it. It's really easy to slip into that common enemy. Okay? We don't have any common enemies. I don't have any enemies. Other people may think they're my enemy, but I want to see them succeed too. Okay? And it is not for us. Let's say you bring up a particular. Well, it is not, I'm not allowed to trigger other people with my adventures. That's hurting other people. When I got in contact with my biological father, I'd never spoken to the man ever in my life. He had a different wife, and there was a great chance she didn't know I was alive. And it turns out that I had a whole nother set. I had to be very, very careful on how I did that, because it wasn't my job to expose what he did. Okay? And even then, out of my three sisters and a brother, I talked to one sister. Okay? And I don't know why. They just don't want. I don't know if it's because I remind them of dad, but that's not my problem. Okay? I have my own views about my father. He died with 51 years sober, so fuck off. Okay? Did he disown me? Did he do all these other things? Sure, he did. And you know what he did? Because this is what happened. Let's just close this. This is what happened. Okay? Is, growing up, my mom tells me, your dad isn't your real dad. I'm like, no shit. Everybody else has blonde curly hair and blue eyes. It wasn't hard for me to figure out. And where was I going with that? Oh, so my mom told me that when she found out that she was pregnant with me, she went to my dad and he was in jail. And he was in jail because he got drunk and went and stole a bunch of firearms. Broke into somebody's house, broke it, and stole a bunch of firearms. So, and my mom told me, she said, and then and I could see why she made this assumption, because she was still young, running and gunning, doing stupid shit. And she said, he's probably dead or drunk or in jail. But the one thing she never said was that he might be sober. Okay. When he left that jail cell, he didn't drink again. Nope. He stayed sober. They kicked him out of the state of Utah. And he went to work for the Veterans Affairs in Idaho. And he would go on to help thousands and thousands of people. I'm very proud of my father. There are some things that still hurt. I never got to hug my father. I never got to look him in the face. Okay? Heck, I didn't even get a chance at childhood. Probably why I act like a Toys R Us kid now, right? So, okay. And what is that forgiveness? Yeah, sure. Okay. But really, what we're trying to get to is the justice. Forgiveness happens in the fifth step. I believe that's when I did it. That's when I forgave myself for being an asshole. I did. Yeah, absolutely. All right. That's what I got. Loving is what I got. All right. Thanks for having a noon meeting with me. It was great to see you all. I love you. Peace out. Oh, Gary, you snuck in here. And Gary, Chris, Scott, and Gary, it was good to have you all. I love you all. Peace out. And